Welcome to the Power of One Voice series, which is the exploration of one of the most influential student organizations in New York City called the University Student Senate. Together, we will go through how student leaders came up with a transformational campaign to get free metro cards for CUNY students and how they will continue to do this groundbreaking work in the city of New York, specifically at the City University of New York. Our guest today is Akkeem Polack, and I can't wait to introduce him to you. Hi, Akkeem.
Hey Sally, what's up?
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
You are? Good, good, good. So thank you for accepting this invitation.
Thanks for
Could you
having me.
please start with introducing yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
All right, so I'm Akkeem Polack, and I'm from Jamaica, the country, not Queens, and I go to York College. I'm majoring in communication technology. I'm an international student, so I know the rigors of transitioning into the US. Overall, I know the highlights and the lowlights. I know what it feels to feel like you want to curse, but also know what it feels to just be happy to be in like a melting pot, with different cultures, learning different things. And, one of the biggest things was joining student leadership, something I did in Jamaica. And of course, didn't really plan to do it here, but I saw the need and I jumped in. So, yeah, that's really me.
And you've been doing a pretty good job in student leadership all the way up to the University Student Senate. Let us know a little bit how you ended up as a USS representative.
Okay, so coming from Jamaica, I didn't really have much plans to be involved in anything in New York. I felt this was just a new place. I'm just gonna come here, do school, that's it. As an international student, a lot of people, they don't know what it comes with. They don't know the opportunities you don't have. They believe you have the same opportunities as them. When I use the word international, I can tell you probably 2 out of 5 people will believe that that means that you're just from a next country, but you are a citizen here and you have the same rights and the same privileges. No. I remember just starting out in school, I didn't have a social security number. But hear this, to get the ID that you need to enter the school and to use the school Wi-Fi, you need a social security number. So when I went to the IT department, they were as clueless as me because they're like, you need your social. And then as an international student, you get a temporary number that they use, but they didn't know that. But I started having issues with just different things at the school, and I realized that there wasn't a space or a voice for international students there, and I started to get mad, and getting like Jamaican mad, and I remember emailing the president at the time. She left, but I emailed her because I was just frustrated with everything, and I didn't think we get any support and all of that. I have a nice DSO, but the pressure was on her because we didn't even have a international student office, and it was so hard to get to the leadership of the school because when you go to their office, people are like guarding them, like there's some
Gatekeeping.
yeah, like oh no, they're very busy. Check back in 2 weeks, that type of thing. So I wrote an email to the president because I was just done. And the president responded surprisingly, and because it was a very long email, and then responded and put me on to the dean, well, the assistant dean at the time. And he connected with me. It was the first time I got a response so fast. Whenever I email, even now when I email people, they respond now. And I brought up the issues. We got some of them addressed. I remember him introducing me to the vice president of student affairs. Then I started to meet other people. And then I realized, maybe it's something I should do. But I still didn't. And then there was a special election and he called me up and he said, I really think you should run. And then when I ran, I got in surprisingly. I remember just posting one message that, I'm Akkeem from Jamaica and I'm just running to be your representative because I was a department senator. So people in my department knew me because I used to always have, like in classes, I'll be the one to raise my hand and address stuff that the professor did or didn't do. And they voted for me surprisingly, and I started as a senator there, and then I didn't really know much about USS because coming from Jamaica, listen, you need to stop me. I can go on and on, but coming from Jamaica, and then after getting involved, I remember one meeting I came up with like a 5-point plan to improve international student life at the college, and then we met with the vice president and everybody. It was just a round table, and then it came my turn. I had my photocopies and I just handed it out to them individually, and they were impressed. They liked that, and then they started responding to me, and and 3 out of the 5 things I proposed got done. The other 2 didn't get done because of the changes, but every time I see them, it's a work in progress. So, and then I just got involved in USS too, and it was just like, I can make a bigger impact, not only as an international student, not only as a student from Queens, but across New York City.
You and I have so many similarities in our journeys. I'm an international student too, and I didn't want to run for student government either. There are so many things that are similar. So when I listen to you, I do see a rising star in student leadership. It's very good to see. That's great. So you got into USS and you were in the 2023-2024 administration at first. That is my last administration, and that's when we came up with the idea of advocating for free Metro cards for CUNY students as a part of our agenda. What was your first feeling when I first presented this at the plenary?
So honestly speaking, just seeing it, because I was an alternate at the time, so I wasn't really like equipped with knowledge beforehand, just jumping into this, and I was surprised. I was like, that's a big ask for a university organization to do. I'm just like, will anybody even respond?
Who do they think they are?
Like, will everybody? But I started reading more into it, and then I'm like, we are positioned to do this. I started because my mind goes, because I did a little bit of marketing when I was in high school too for companies, and my mind just went to the fact that if I was looking at schools to come to, and then I heard that I could get a free Metro card, then I'm throwing all my money there. So I just started to look at all the possibilities, and then I'm like, the CUNY chancellor staff, or even the board of trustees, or even the state who needs to fund it, if they don't do it, they would be stupid. Respectfully, I didn't say I meant respectfully stupid, but I think it's something without a shadow of a doubt, that it has to be done. It makes sense. But at first, I was kind of hesitant because I was just thinking, I didn't know how much influence we had. Because people will try to dim your lights, and they'll try to dim down the influence you have. So you don't realize that you have all this power. So when you did it first, I was like, huh? But the more I started to read into it, it made sense, and something I got behind.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that was your experience. Coming into USS, sometimes we don't realize how great this organization is. I mean, we're walking in the footsteps of giants. They've done big things before. So why couldn't we do it too, right?
Exactly.
At some point in our journey with free Metro cards, I came back to you guys at the plenary, and I let you know that the principal feedback I was getting was that we should reduce our student population, that we should start going with milestones. And I introduced the conversation of trying to have free Metro cards for community college students. How did that make you feel?
Well, in anything for anything to get done, really, you have to start small. And when you're dealing with, especially on a legislative level, and dealing with money, if you're gonna call a spade, they have to protect themselves too. They can't just throw an investment there and expect immediate results. They have to be very smart. So I figured it would have been a similar sentiment. You always ask for more, and then people just cut it down and they try to meet in the middle. That's progress. So I felt good because at least it wasn't a no. It was a let's start here.
Let's start somewhere.
Yeah, and that's how life is. Sometimes you have to start somewhere.
And I saw it in your motivation when we went to Albany multiple times, caucus almost weekend. You were one of the students who were talking to elected officials the most. It was so good to see with your scarves everywhere. How was that process? You're in student government for a while, but then you come in this student organization where we're doing much more. And now you're talking to elected officials. As an international student who was probably doing some work in Jamaica, but you didn't think you'll be doing this in the US. How is that for you?
So, it was a bit intimidating because realistically speaking, I knew about New York politics, I knew about US politics, but I didn't really follow it up as much. And, there were people who knew every person there. I knew some. But I realized that's just how life is. Because I met a couple of them and we stayed in contact. And especially just bringing up, I remember one experience with one of the state senators. She said to me, I was talking to her about it, and she was like, you know what? We should go a step further. Why not free Omni cards? Because we're going on the phones, let's go digital fully. And so she bought into the idea, and then I was just like, this is where it starts. So for me, the experience was, it started out intimidating, but then I realized that that's where it starts. That's what advocacy is all about. Getting people and influencing people to support your ideas and what you want. And, they bought into it and they're still buying into it. And I feel like there's just so much more we can do with it.
I like to think that while CUNY is an engine of social mobility, USS is an engine of civic mobility. This year, we came to our USS retreat with the theme, The Power of One Voice. And that is the theme of this series. So I want to ask you, what does that mean for you, reflecting back on your experience and sitting here today, getting ready to join the 24-25 delegation? What does it mean for you to move with one voice?
So one voice is essential. It shows that you have one vision and one message. I would have said before that there are times where you might disagree, and that's okay. That's what life is all about. My experience is different from yours, and all politics is local. So I may experience something differently, so I may not support you 100%. But what leadership is all about is coming to that middle ground and actually surround like going behind this one thing you want to achieve. That one thing can be multiple things, of course, but you have to send one message with a united front, because nobody wants to get involved in, we used to say in Jamaica, dirty laundry.
Okay.
When people air their dirty laundry out, like they don't want to get involved in your internal politics. So we have to ensure that when we come out there, we come out as one, and we're saying one thing. And the reality is, you don't have to fully buy into something, but if you buy into the whole vision and mission of the organization, you should be able to come around this one idea and advocate accordingly. So that's what it means to me.
That's
just
very
advocating
well said.
behind one thing.
That's so well said. Well, thank you, Akkeem.
Thanks, Ali.
For your time today.
Thanks for
for
having
sharing
me.
your views with me. And I look forward to seeing more of what you'll do in the future.
Hopefully. Thank you.